السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. So indeed all praises for Allah, so we praise Him, we seek His help and His forgiveness, and we seek protection with Allah from the evil within us and from our bad deeds. And whosoever Allah guides, absolutely no one could lead astray. And whosoever He leaves to go astray or He misguides, there is absolutely no guide for him. And I witness that there is no deity, no true deity worthy of worship except Allah alone, who has no partners. And I witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His slave, is His abd and His messenger. O you who have believed, have taqwa for Allah, fear Allah, do your duties to Him, do the right things, keep away from the haram things, and do not die except, make sure you do not die. La tamutunna, do not die. There's a command there that you must not die. Allah is commanding you not to die except in Islam. And there's a noon at the end here with a shadda on it. It's called noon at-tawqid, which is for emphasis. There's a prohibition. Don't die. Make sure you don't die except that you are Muslims. And this is something that we need to ponder over and give a lot of thought to. Because the only way you can do this, that you don't die except being a Muslim, except in Islam, is by living Islam. This is the only way. So Allah is telling you, is a command, indirect command, to be a good, upright Muslim and enter into the deen of Islam kaffatan, fully, as Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis silmi kaffah. Or you who believe, enter into Islam fully, completely, totally, fully submit to the will of Allah. And this is where the success is. Brothers and sisters, we welcome you, which is an honor for which we cannot thank Allah enough. This is Alhamdulillah Foundation 1B. This is Module 7, and it is a revision for lesson 31 to 33. May Allah make it easy for us to complete it. Ameen. Please praise Allah the Almighty for assisting you to reach this far with your studies, because you have really, if you are still with it, you have really achieved a lot. And it is important that you stick with it, because the road ahead of you is still long and steep. But with Allah's help, and His help is always there, things always become easy. You strive in His way, and He is going to make a way out of all your technicalities and difficulties. He said, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whosoever has taqwa for Allah, He's going to make the opening for them to get out of their technicalities. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. And who strive and struggle in our ways, in our paths, we are going to guide them to our ways. So this is what you need. And from the guidance to Allah's ways is to be privileged to learn this beautiful language and to learn the deen of Islam. So seek His help, since you need it every step of the way of your journey through this life and through your studies. Inshallah, be sincere and patient. Remember, these are two essential attributes that you need to keep with you, because it is going to be difficult. Don't be fooled. I'm always telling you it's going to be difficult. However, these revisions should make it easier, inshallah. For next week, we're going to have a break so that you can catch up with your work. And from the following week, inshallah, we're going to start getting into practice of all that you have learned, inshallah. And we're going to start by explaining a word-for-word breakdown of Surah Al-Fatiha. We want you to continue making constant dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you in this, because You must remember to beg Allah for His assistance throughout your journey. It is not going to be easy. This is part 1 of the revision for module 7. Inshallah, we will cover lesson 31 to 33 in it. So we will discuss the following: the passive voice verbs, transitive and intransitive verbs, understanding the different patterns for other than 3-lettered verbs. That's 3-letter verb that is increased by 1 letter, 2 letter, or 3 letter, as we are going to explain inshallah. So we have al-fi'lu al-ma'lumu wal-fi'lu al-majhulu, active and passive voice verbs. Verbs are either active voice, al-fi'lu al-ma'lum, or passive voice, al-fi'lu al-majhul. Up to this time, we only dealt with al-fi'lu al-ma'lum, active voice conjugations for the 3-lettered Form 1 verbs. We said Form 1 because we are dealing with the Hanswehr dictionary, in which each category of verb is placed into is given a particular number. The 3-lettered verbs, all of them fall into Form 1. Inshallah, we want to introduce in this lesson the passive voice verb, al-fi'l al-majhul, since it is better to learn them together and it makes it easier to really comprehend. The passive conjugations or the passive voice conjugations are different from active conjugations by just some internal vowel changes. This is very important. The only difference is the internal vowel changes. So for example, we have active voice, al-fi'l al-ma'lu, fa'ala yaf'alu. We did this before, so we know this. Fa'ala means he did, yaf'alu means he does or he is doing. Al-fi'l al-majhul, we are just going to put the example here and then we're going to explain, is fu'ila yuf'alu. Fu'ila means it was done, compared to the active voice, he did. Right? Here, the he is dropped, and you know something is done, but you don't know who did it. Right? Yuf'alu is it is done. Passive voice. There is only one pattern, one wazn for all 3-lettered verbs, regardless of which of the 6 scales it falls upon. We know we had 6 scales, right? Fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ilu, fa'ala yaf'ulu, fa'ila yaf'alu, fa'ila yaf'ilu, fa'ula yaf'ulu. Those are the 6 scales. Regardless of which one of these it falls on, the pattern is going to be fu'ila yuf'alu. So nasara yansuru is going to be nusira yunsaru. You can observe this pattern from the above examples. So the vowel is dhamma on the first consonant. As you notice, for the past tense, that is fa'ul kalima for the past tense, passive voice verb. On the first consonant, on fa'ul kalima, it is always dhamma. For the present tense, the sign is dhamma also on the alamatul mudari'. So on the alamatul mudari' also, it is dhamma. So for the present tense passive voice, it is dhamma on the alamatul mudari', and for the past tense passive voice, it is dhamma on the fa'al kalima. This is always so for both cases. As for the past tense, the ainul kalima, now we finished the first letter, right? Forget the fa'al kalima in the mudari' form. All we're talking about is the first letter that you meet up with. Okay? Now the other place where there's a change is the ainul kalima on both. Okay? As for the past tense, the ainul kalima always takes kasra, fu'ila. While for the present tense, that is the ainul kalima, always takes fatha, yuf'alu, the ain there, right? So if you write out the passive conjugations with the short vowels for the present and the past tense, they will look just like the active voice conjugations, since the prefixes and suffixes are exactly the same as for the active voice. So it is going to be fu'ila, fu'ilat, fu'ilu, fu'ilna. The suffix at the end is going to be like for the regular past tense. And the prefix here is going to be ya, ta, alif, and nun. Right? Like if I say uf'alu, nuf'alu, yuf'alu. Okay? And then at the end, the suffix is going to be the same. Yuf'aluna, yuf'alani, tuf'alani, tuf'alu. Okay? That's what I mean by suffix and prefix being the same, right? So it's going to be the same. However, context is what will tell you what is going on. And in Arabic, it is easier. It's very easy, inshallah, to determine this. So here we have the patterns of Form 1 verbs, active and passive voice. We are doing them together, inshallah, so that you'll have a clear picture on them. Here's our table, which we are going to use, and we have the description of the Form 1 verb. Whatever verb we use here, we are going to put the meaning, inshallah. And here we have the raqam from the reference from Hansware Dictionary, the Hansware Dictionary. The point is, the raqam is 1 for all of this. We said there are 6 patterns for the Form 1 verb. We discussed this in depth before. We studied it in detail, and we just talked about it also. Okay, so we have al-madi lil-ma'lumi wal-mudari' lil-ma'lum, right? And this is what we were doing all the time, the active voice. So for the past tense, al-madi lil-ma'lum, it is the known, the active voice. Kataba, which means he wrote. Nasara means he helped. Okay, fa'ala means he did. Al-mudari' lil-ma'lum. So we are doing the mudari', the present known active voice. Yaktubu is the example we have here. He is writing. Then we have the form al-amr, the command or the order, the imperative. Uktub, kataba yaktubu, uktub, which means write, is a command. Okay, let us go through these. We're going to see fa'ala yaf'alu uf'ul. This means to do an action. Fa'ala yaf'alu, if'al, instead of fa'ala yaf'ulu, yaf'alu, if'al. This is just the dummy table that we are putting up so that you would get an idea what is going on. So all of the we are using fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ulu, okay, which you already know. Fa'ala yaf'ilu, if'il. This also means to do, or we're going to put that there as the meaning is to do. Fa'ila yaf'alu, if'al, to do an action. Fa'ila yaf'ilu, if'il, and then we have finally fa'ula yaf'ulu, uf'ul, same meaning, to do an action, right? The scales, as we know, we studied all of these scales before in detail in Foundation 1. Let us get to the al-madi lil-majhul, the past unknown or the passive voice. Majhul means something that's unknown. Kutiba, we just discussed this, right? The first letter has a dhamma, the fa'al kalima, and the ainul kalima has a kasra for the past tense. It was written. Okay, and for all of them, all 6 forms, they have one form, fu'ila. Al-mudari lil-majhul, present passive. It is the present unknown or passive, right? It is majhul, it's unknown. It is the passive voice. Yuktabu, it is written. It was written as kutiba. Yuktabu, it is written. And there is only one pattern for this also, yuf'alu. Al-masdar, the verbal noun, the verbal ID in the form of a noun, is kitabatun for this word, for kataba yaktubu. Okay, it means the act of writing. Okay, the verbal ID in the form of a noun, right? We call it the verbal noun. It is the act of writing. The patterns for the verbal noun is not constant for Form 1. They are different. Like you see kitabatan here, you would see nasara, yansuru, unsur, nasrun. You would see different things. So it is not constant. So we cannot place a constant form for the Form 1 here. However, the ismul fa'il, which is the person who does the act or who is responsible for the act, is the katib, the writer, right? Kataba yaktubu, uktub, kutiba yuktabu, kitabatun is the masdar, katibun is the writer. Now, the mabni al-majhul does not have ismul fa'il or masdar. It is one masdar, it is one ismul fa'il, inshallah, and one ismul maf'ul. And the scale for this is, for all of them, is fa'ilun, which we did before, right? And here we have also ismul maf'uli, the person or thing towards which action intended, the one who is at the receiving end of the action, the object, right? Maktubun means written, and all of them fall on the same scale. And there is nothing separate for al-madi lil-majhul and al-mudari lil-majhul. There is nothing separate for these also. So these patterns, these 3. So there's one pattern you have to learn here, one pattern you have to learn here, one pattern you have to learn here, one pattern you have to learn here. With the masdar, you're going to do the pattern as it comes along, inshallah. So we come to this final slide in which we want to give some examples of patterns for form 1 verbs of the active and passive voices. And we're going to use those same verbs that we already knew. The table is right in front of us. So we have the raqam, which is 1, and the al-madi lil-ma'lum, al-mudari lil-ma'lum, al-amr, al-madi lil-majhul, al-mudari lil-majhul. Then we have the masdar, ism al-fa'il, and the ism al-maf'ul. We're not going back to explain this. I'm just going to bring the verb. So we start with the meaning, which is he helped, which we know is nasara. Nasara means he helped. Yansuru is the mudari. Unsur is the fi'l amr. Now we come to the madi, al-madi lil-majhul. We said nusira, because the first letter takes a dhamma, the second letter, the ayn al-kalima, takes a kasra. All the case, right? The al-mudari lil-majhul is going to be yunsaru. The alamatul mudari takes a dhamma always, and the letter that comes before the last letter, the ayn al-kalima, is the ayn al-kalima, takes a fatha, yunsaru. Then we go back to the verbal noun is nasrun. Nasirun is the ism al-fa'il, and the ism al-maf'ul is mansur. Right? What you can do is try to bring these before I get there, so that at least you would know. Okay? The problem might be with the masdar, because not in all cases it's going to fall on the case nas fa'alun. Okay? So we have the next verb is daraba, which means he hit. Yadribu, idrib. Then we have duriba is the fi'l mabni lil majhul for the madi, and we have yudrabu is the mudari. The masdar is darbun. Darib is the ism al-fa'il, madrub is the ism al-maf'ul. The third verb is he opened. Fataha, yaftahu, iftah. The al-madi lil-majhul is going to be futiha. The majhul for the mudari is going to be yuftahu. Then we have fathun is the masdar, fatih is the one who opens, and maftuh is what is opened. We come to he heard, sami'a, yasma'u, isma'. Then we have sumi'a is the majhul for the madi, yusma'u is the majhul for the mudari, sam'un is one of the masdar, ism al-fa'il is sami'un, and ism al-maf'ul is masmu'un. Okay? Then we have he considered. Hasiba, yahsibu, yahsib, yahsib is going to be husiba for the majhul madi, yuhsabu for the majhul mudari, hisbanun is the masdar. So this one is different from the other formations. As I said, the masdar for the three-lettered verbs is not consistent, right? Then we have the ism al-fa'il is hasib and mahsub. The final verb that we're going to do, he was noble, karuma, yakrumu, ukrum. Then we have for the madi lil majhul is going to be kurima, yukramu, karamun. There are other also, again there is another masdar for this. Okay, the ism al-fa'il is karimun and the ism al-maf'ul is makrumun. So inshallah, I think that giving all these examples here would have made it clearer for you. Now before we continue discussing and explaining what we want to complete this video with concerning active and passive voice, before we do that, we want to talk a little bit about the intransitive and the transitive verb. The intransitive and transitive verbs. Al-fi'lu al-lazimu wal-muta'addi. Every verb must have someone or something doing the action. In Arabic, this is called al-fa'ilu, the doer of the action, and it is always marfu'. Verbs in Arabic are either intransitive, lazim, or it is transitive, muta'addi. An action verb with no direct object is intransitive. We'll show this as an example shortly, inshallah. That is, it is lazim. You just have the fi'l and the fa'il, the verb and the one who's doing the action. While an action verb with a direct object is transitive. That is, it is muta'addi. Some verbs such as arrive, go, wasala, dhahaba, etc., lie, sneeze, sit, and die are always intransitive. Right? If you say he died, that's it. There's nothing else beyond that. There's no object. He died. It's a complete sentence. It is impossible for a direct object to follow. Let us look at an example of each type, inshallah. Muhammad went. ذهب محمد. This is from the word go. Went is the past tense, right? ذهب محمد. We have the فعل اللازم is ذهب. محمد is the fa'il. So you see the two parts of the sentence here in the Arabic language, right? Which is the same thing in our English. Muhammad went. That is enough. So this is the fi'al lazim. It has a fi'al and a fa'il. On the other hand, we have Muhammad studied the book. Darasa Muhammadun al-kitaba. Here we have al-fi'al al-muta'addi, which is darasa. Muhammadun al-fa'il. He is the fa'il. He is the one who studied the book, right? And the book is therefore the object. Al-maf'ulu bihi. Al-maf'ulu bihi is the object, right? And it is always mansub, as we're going to see, inshallah. Look at the first sentence. The verb is dhahaba. It is intransitive, lazim. The doer, the fa'il, is Muhammad. As we see here, the sentence does not need an object. It's a complete sentence as it is. The doer, al-fa'il, is always marfu'. So that's why we have dhahaba Muhammadun. The second sentence is transitive, muta'addi. Since the verb has a doer, a fa'il, which is Muhammad, and an object, a maf'ulu bihi, which is al-kitabah. The object, the maf'ulu bihi, is always mansub. Notice, so the fa'il is always marfu'. Darasa Muhammadun al-kitabah. Dhahaba Muhammadun. Okay? So, the fa'il is always marfu'. The maf'ulun bihi is always mansub. That is, it always takes a fatha, or anything that comes in the place of fatha. So here we come. After we finish with that, because that's an important introduction to understanding and completing our passive voice, our understanding of the passive voice construction. What does active and passive voice mean? Here are two different ways to construct a similar sentence. Muhammad studied the book. The second way is the book was studied. Muhammad is the subject, studied is the verb, and the object is the book. Okay, this is English. Okay, and the other section is the book was studied, the book is the subject, and was studied is the verb. Okay, let us get an explanation. Look at the first sentence. The subject of the sentence is Muhammad, and the book is the object, which receives the action of the verb studied. The book is what received the action. This sentence is called the active voice. This sentence is also called al-fi'lul muta'addi. Okay, al-fi'lul muta'addi. It is the same because it has an object. The grammatical term active voice refers to a sentence in which the subject performs an action indicated by the verb. Sentence 1 is written in the active voice because Muhammad is the subject and he is performing the action of studying upon the object, that is the book. The second sentence was written in the passive voice. We can see that book is the subject of the sentence, okay, and it receives the action of the verb was studied. There is no object in this, right? No object in this, so there is no maf'ulun bihi. In Arabic it is similar. Let us look at some examples in Arabic, inshallah. Okay, so we are still dealing with understanding the application of the active and the passive voice. So we have al-fi'lul ma'lum, the active voice. Here's our first sentence. Muhammad studied the book. Darasa Muhammadun al-kitabah. In this sentence we have al-fi'lul ma'lum, darasa. Muhammad is fa'il and al-kitab is maf'ulun bihi. Now this first sentence has a verb which is darasa. It has a doer of the action which is Muhammad. We said every verb, every fi'l must have a fa'il. There must be someone who's doing the action or something who's doing the action. The doer is Muhammad and that is always marfu, right? And the object al-kitab, and the object is al-kitab, al-maf'ulu bihi. Okay, this is called al-fi'lul ma'lum, the active voice. Now we have the al-fi'lul majhul, which is translated into English as the passive voice. The book was studied. Duris al-kitabu. Duris al-kitabu, here we have al-fi'lul majhul. Durisa al-kitabu is na'ibu fa'il. Notice it is not fa'il. We're going to explain this, right? It is na'ibu fa'il. Okay, now if you look at this sentence, the second sentence, the second Arabic sentence, the verb is conjugated in the passive voice. Do risa. We said for the passive voice, the fa'ul kalima take a dhamma, and the ainul kalima take a kasra. In this case, the fa'ul kalima is dal, so it takes a dhamma, so it's do. The ainul kalima is ra, so it takes a kasra, do risa. Okay? The verb is conjugated in the passive voice. The person who's doing the action is dropped. Person who's doing the action, as we see here, is Muhammad, is dropped. So the actual fa'il, the one who's doing the action, is dropped. And so the direct object of the first sentence is now the subject, al-kitabu. Okay? So this direct object, the maf'ulun, which was the maf'ulun bihi, al-kitaba, and notice the maf'ulun bihi is always mansub. It takes a fatha. It now becomes the na'ibu fa'il. Right? In English, I don't know how they describe it, because it is not doing the action still. Okay, and in Arabic that is clearly shown. But what it is na'ibu fa'il. It stands in the place of the fa'il, right? So the direct object of the first sentence is now the subject, al-kitabu. Subject, that is what is studied. Okay, notice in the first sentence it took the fatha because it is the object, the maf'ulun bihi. However, in this sentence it takes dhamma and stands in the place of the fa'il, and it is called na'ibu fa'il. Right, so for the fi'l majhul we have the fi'l, al-fi'lu, and we have na'ibu fa'ilin. Right, it is called na'ibu fa'il. That is that which takes the place of fa'il. That is what it exactly means. Na'ib is one stand in the place. The na'ibul imam is the one who is a deputy imam. Right, so he deputizes. So na'ibu fa'il takes the place of the fa'il. So it stands in its place. The doer, the fa'il, and the na'ib fa'il are always marfu'. The two of them are always marfu'. Now notice that the Arabic sentence does not have the equivalent of by me included, right? So here in English, if you translate it, the book was studied by me. That's what is implied. Or that is what you can even say that. But in Arabic that is not so. This is because in Arabic the doer of the action is supposed to go unmentioned. The doer of the action, I mean, in Arabic it is clear, it is not to be mentioned. The doer of the action is not supposed to be mentioned. In fact, the Arabic word for the passive is majhul, meaning unknown. It is unknown. It is not known. So, fi'l al-majhul means the one that is doing the action is unknown. So we don't have anything to indicate who's doing the action. Right? Al-kitabu, the kitabu is standing in the place of the fa'il, so it becomes the na'ibu fa'ilin. So we come to the final part of this important session, inshallah, and it is dealing with understanding the application of the passive voice, and we're going to do that right now, inshallah, in a more practical way. Here is an ayah that Allah says in Surah Takwir, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Come read with me. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنبٍ قُتِلَتْ. One more time. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنبٍ قُتِلَتْ. We are doing the passive voice, right? So let us get, we have two verbs here in red, سُئِلَتْ, قُتِلَتْ. So we're going to explain those verbs, inshallah. سُئِلَتْ is al-madi lil-majhul, but it is mu'annath, it is ghaiba, right? Su'ila, huwa su'ila, hiya su'ilat, she is asked. So let us get to the meaning of this. Sa'ala is a verb, which means he asked. Yas'alu means he asks, and that is a fi'al mudari lil-ma'lum. Al-amr is'al, ask. Su'ilat is a madi lil-majhul, and that is, I just put this because that's how it's in the Quran. But it's supposed, if we are putting it in a regular table, it would have been su'ila. Okay? Su'ilat. Al-mudari lil-majhul is yus'alu. Mas'alatun is the question. Al-masdar. Ism al-fa'il is the sa'il. The sa'il is the one who asks, is the ism al-fa'il. Ism al-maf'ul is the one who is asked. Qutilat is the other verb. Again, we add a ta. It is supposed to be qutila, but we add a ta because it is mu'annath. It is feminine, right? Let's get the verb. Qatala means he killed. Yaqtulu, he kills. Uqtul means kill. Qutilat, we did that. Yuqtalu is a mudari lil-majhul. Here, the masdar is qatlun or kitalun. Qatil is the ism al-fa'il. I don't have to translate that. Maqtul is the ism al-maf'ul. That is the one who is killed. Okay, so let us get to the ayah. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ. Al-Maw'udatu is a girl child who is buried alive. This was a practice in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, as we know. Right? وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. So we get that. And when, إِذَا means when, al-maw'ud, that's on the day of judgment. Al-maw'udatu, the girl child who is buried alive, su'ilat, is going to be asked. بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. بِأَيِّ ذَنْب, بِأَيِّ means for which or by which. By which sin, dhanb means sin. بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. Was she قُتِلَتْ? Was she killed? بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. So this is the meaning of the ayah. And when the girl child who was buried alive is asked for which sin she was killed. Okay, so we can understand that ayah, inshallah. In this ayah, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ. وَلَا تَقُولُوا قَالَ يَقُولُ. تَقُولُوا تَقُولُونَ. The lam here, we're going to discuss this inshallah shortly, maybe next 2 weeks from now, inshallah, because we have to talk about it a little bit more. This is la nafiya. It makes the fi'al mudari madzum, so the noon drops. So it's وَلَا تَقُولُوا liman, for who, yuqtal, qatala, yuqtal, who is killed, fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah means in the way of Allah, amwat. Mautun means dead. Amwat means more than one dead, because we are talking about plural, right? Whoever dies in the way of Allah, do not say that they are dead. Okay, that's what it means. And do not say about those who are killed in the way of Allah, they are dead. Okay, let us get to the final ayah. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. So let us get, as you notice, there are 4 words in red here. خُلِقَتْ, رُفِعَتْ, نُصِبَتْ, سُطِحَتْ. All of them are al-madi lil-majhul, and they are feminine. Alright, so none of it we have qutila, for example, or khuliqa. Okay, so let us get this. Khuliqat, it comes from the verb khalaqa, which means he created, Allah created. Alright, yakhluqu is the present tense, ukhluq is the fi'al amr. Alright, yukhlaqu is the majhul al-mudari. Khalqun is the creation. Khaliq, Allah is al-Khaliq, Allah is the creator. Makhluq is what was created, the one who was created, right? Khalqun is the act of creating. Rufi'at comes from the verb rafa'a, which means he raised. He raised, right? Rafa'a yarfa'u, rafa'a yarfa'u, yarfa'u yadahu, he raised his hand, right? Irfa' yurfa'u, we did rufi'at already, we did that before. Yurfa'u is the fi'l mabni lil-majhul lil-mudari. Right? Raf'un means the act of raising. Rafi'un is the one who raises. Marfu'un, and you know marfu', the dhamma is marfu' bi dhamma. Raf'un fi halati rafa'. Right? So you see where the word come from, right? Inshallah. Okay. Then we have nusibat. Nusibat comes from nasaba, which means to raise or to erect. In this particular case, because it is talking about the mountains, it is better to use erect. Nasaba, yansubu. Yansubu, unsub, unsub. Nusibat, we did that already. Nusiba is fi'l mabni lil majhul lil madi. Yunsabu is mabni lil majhuli for mudari', inshallah. Nasbun, you see, fi halati nasb, right? Nasib is the one who is erecting something, right? Mansub is what is erected, right? And it is mansub, it has a fatha on it, right? That is what it is, how it is. The final verb is sutihat. Sutihat, right? Come from sataha. Sataha, which means to spread or to roll out or to flatten. Sataha yastahu istah. Sutihat yustahu. Yustahu. Sathun is like a terrace, an open place, a wide open place. You have an open sath. The whole entire place is open, like a roof is open, like in Saudi Arabia they have flat roofs. So they say sath or something like that, right? Sathun, satihun. Satihun is the one who opens out or flattens. Mastuh, mastuh. So we have here, afala yanzuruna. Yanzur means to look. Yanzuruna means they look. Don't أفلا ينظرون. Don't they all look to the ibil? The ibil is the she camels, right? She camels, right? To the she camel. How? Let us get the translation, inshallah. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل. So don't they look to the ibil? كيف خلقت. How she or they are created, right? خلقت. خلق means to create. How they are created. وإلى السماء. The sama is the sky. كيف رفعت. How it is raised. How it is. And they don't look to the sky how it is raised. وإلى الجبال. جبال means mountain. إلى الجبال كيف نصبت. نصبت. How it's erected. How it is fixed into the earth. Right? وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت. وإلى الأرض. And to the earth how it is. سطحت. سطح means to spread. How it is spread out and rolled out or flattened out in front of them. Right? So this is the meaning. Then do they not look at the camels, how they are created, actually she camels, and at the sky, how it is raised, and at the mountains, how they are erected, and at the earth, how it is spread out. So, I mean, I think this would have really given you a clear understanding of this entire concept. Summary of information relative to verbs. Notes about conjugation. First note, in the Hans-Wehr dictionary, the three-lettered verb is referred to as the form 1 verb. Okay? It is called the mujarrad. B. So up to the present time, we basically studied conjugation for form 1 verbs. Except we introduced aslama yuslimu islamun. Af'alu yuf'ilu if'alun. We use the form 1, the three-lettered verbs, to begin conjugations because it is the easiest of all the forms and patterns to work with for conjugations. The patterns of the conjugations for the form 1 verb are the same patterns that apply to all the other forms of verbs. So all the patterns, all the prefixes and suffixes that are added to these verbs in the different aspects or the different parts of their conjugation, they are all for all the verbs that you're going to learn. Thus, if you have a good grasp of the conjugation of the form 1 verb, that is a three-lettered verb, the other 9 forms would be easy to understand, inshallah. On the other hand, form 1 verbs are more difficult than all other forms because there is no way to predict the middle vowel. You must memorize the past and present tense forms and the masdar forms for all of these because they vary. With the other forms that we are going to study, the additional forms, the additional 9 forms that we are going to study, inshallah, they are very consistent. So each verb of form 1 is unique, but all its conjugation follow one pattern. Okay, the conjugation, the prefixes and suffixes that are added only follow one pattern. For every verb, all we need to have in order to conjugate it is a third person singular form. That is, the form for huwa. An example being fa'ala yaf'alu. So all we memorize as long as we have a grasp of the scale is fa'ala yaf'alu. Since all the other patterns are derived from them. That is, as long as we know them, everything else can be deduced, inshaAllah. So as long as we memorize fa'alat, fa'ala, fa'alata, fa'alu, it is going to be the same for all. Yaf'ala, yaf'alu, taf'alu, yaf'aluna, yaf'alani. As long as we memorize these patterns, inshallah, everything is going to fall into place because the forms are consistent. The prefixes and the suffixes are consistent. So, in this slide, inshallah, we are dealing with verb scale, or we call it patterns or forms, right? That's what is used. The scales of the verb, or the patterns of the verb, or the forms of the verb. And this is called the wazn or the awzan. Verbs consist of either 3 letters or 4 letters as the basic root. It's called mujarrad. Both have 2 broad categories. Al-mujarrad. This is the basic root, which is the bare root. 3 letters, fa, ayn, and lam, or 4 letters. We will discuss this as we go on, inshallah. Okay, but they are both called mujarrad. And that is the bare root. And al-mazid, which means increased. So if you increase on any one of these, the 3 letter or the 4 letter, it's called mazid. So it's mujarrad and mazid. There are 10 popular verb forms or patterns or scales in use today that have 3 letters as its root. Form 1 is al-mujarrad, which has 6 patterns. So form 1, which is the 3-lettered verbs, fa, ayn, and lam, That is called form 1 in the Hanswehr dictionary. It's called form 1. There are 9 other patterns that are mazid. The mujarrad form has 6 patterns which we dealt with and we learned and we revised and we talked over a lot of times. And the rest are al-mazid, which have 1 or 2 or 3 additional letters. We already discussed the form 1 verb, that is the 3-lettered verb, and its 6 categories, which are, we're going to just revise them here. Fa'ala yaf'ulu, like kataba yaktubu. Second one is fa'ala yaf'ilu, jalasa yajlisu. Third one is fa'ala yaf'alu, dhahaba yadhhabu is the example. Fa'ila yaf'alu, sami'a yasma'u. That's the 4th category. The 5th category is fa'ila yaf'ilu, waritha yarithu. The 6th category is fa'ula yaf'ulu, kathura yakthuru. So those are the 6 categories for the mujarrad, the triliteral verbs that are the base root. They are the base root. They have 3 letters, fa, ain, and lam as a base, so they are called mujarrad. Okay. In this class, we are going to discuss all the major forms that are derived from form 1, that is the 3-lettered verb. They fall into 3 categories. Ma zida fihi harfun wahidun. That's the first category. Ma zida fihi, zida zada. Zada means to increase. Ma zida fihi, in it, in the verb. What increases in the verb? Harfun wahidun, 1 harf. Verbs that are increased on the 3-lettered verbs by 1 harf, 1 letter. These have 3 forms. Okay, we'll discuss that inshallah as we go on. Ma zida fihi harfan. Verbs that are increased on the 3-lettered verbs by 2 letters. There are 5 forms. Okay, as we see here, ma zida fihi is right here again. Verbs that are increased. In it, 2 letters, right? 2 letters are increased in the verb. Ma zida fihi thalathatu, 3 letters. Ahrufin. Verbs that are increased on the 3-letter verbs by 3 letters. Although there are a few forms for this one, we are only going to discuss 1 form, inshallah, since the others are rarely ever used in this time, inshallah, if at all. So we are still with verb scale patterns and the forms, inshallah. Note, while form 1 is the most complex, the other forms are regular and consistent. Okay, so they are regular and consistent, so it is easy to study and understand them, and it is encouraged to memorize them as follows, inshallah. Alright? Ma zida fihi harfun wahidun. Those verbs that is increased to the 3-lettered verbs. There are 3 patterns we says here. So it is called, the first one is called form 2 verbs, and it is fa'ala. Notice here we have it equal to fa'ala. An additional ain is added, right? This ain with sukun is added. Because we had fa'ala, remember fa'ala, we add an ain with sukun, so it becomes fa'ala. The example is sallama yusallimu taslim. That's how you memorize it. Sallama yusallimu taslim. Fa'ala yufa'ilu taf'il. Sallama yusallimu taslim. Right? Form 3 verbs is fa'ala. Fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatun. Right? So we have on the scale jahada. Fa'ala jahada yujahidu. The alamatul mudari is added here, so it becomes yujahidu. Notice this is changed from ha to he. Yujahidu, right? Mujahadatun. We're going to say that for now. Mujahadatun. So a meme is added in front of jahada. A ta marbuta is added at the back, so it becomes mujahadatun. The 4th form is form 4 verbs. We already discussed this, is af'ala. Like aslama yuslimu islamun. We did this before, so you go back to that dars inshallah. Af'ala, aslama yuslimu islamun. Okay, so now the 2nd category is ma zida fihi harfan. Those verbs that 2 letters is increased on to the 3-letter word. So we have form 5 verbs, and these are all Roman numerals, and it is written like that, so that's why we are using it, because this is how the Hanswehr have it. Now look at this. Tafa'ala. Notice here we have fa'ala as a form 2, right? So the first, for where 2 letters are added, we still have an ain added. So we bring down the fa'ala here and we add ta. So it becomes tafa'ala. So tafa'ala is equal to ta plus fa'ala. And the example is ta'allama yata'allamu ta'allum. Ta'allama yata'allamu ta'allum. Right? So the lam The Dhamma change, the Fatha changes into a Dhamma for the Masdar. These are all the Masdar. Memorize it like that. The verb, the past tense, the present tense, and the Masdar. Form 6 verbs. Notice we have fa'ala here. We added ta to it. Fa'ala, we bring on the fa'ala from here. We have ta to it. Tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. And the example is tanawala, yatanawalu, tanawul. Tanawul. Tanawala, yatanawalu, tanawul. The form 7 verbs fall on the scale in fa'ala. So we have fa'ala as the base and in is added to it. So it becomes in fa'ala. The example that is used is in kasara. In kasara, yankasiru. Yankasiru, inkisar. Inkisar. This one, here it changes, right? Yankasiru, inkisar. Now we go to the 4 forms. In this scale, that is form 8 verbs. It is if ta'ala. Notice, alif is added in front of it with a kasra. If, the fa takes a sukoon, right? We have fa'ala still, right? And the ta is added in between the fa and the ain. So if ta'ala, right? Istama'a. If you look at this word, what does it come from? Sami'a. We did that already. If you look at this word, it comes from kasara. Okay? So istama'a, yastami'u. It follows the same pattern as I did. This one takes the ainul kalima, takes the kasra. Yastami'u. Istima'un. Istima'un. Okay? Istima'un. Then we have form 9 verbs, which is if'alla. If'alla. Like ihmarra, yahmarru, ihmirar, ihmirar. Inshallah. This is the form 9 verbs. Okay? So the final category is ma zida fi thalathatu ahrufin. They have 3 letters increase on the 3-lettered verbs. Okay? And there's one form. Istaf'ala. Look, we have fa'ala here at the end. Alif, sin, and ta is added at the beginning. So it becomes istaf'ala. The example is istaqbala, yastaqbilu, istiqbal. Istaqbala, yastaqbilu, istiqbal. So these are the categories, inshallah. Memorize them like this. We are going to continue in this pattern for the next class, inshallah. Try to give you more examples on it so that it becomes easy for you and you can handle it like that, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand this. As I said, don't get confused with it. It is not something confusing. Just think about it. This is what you have to know anyhow. So it is the better thing to do is get it out of the way and study it and learn it early. So may Allah bless us and guide us and help us and strengthen us to do it best and give us the best in this world and hereafter and save us from hell. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.